Is technology at your work distracting you from actual work? Do you spend too much time troubleshooting PC or internet issues? IT Enabled can help. Our team of IT specialists can help you tackle your technology troubles and get you focused on growing your business in no time. Call to schedule your technology consultation, 936-225-3329. IT Enabled, we're here to help.
Hi, this is Tara Watson-Watkins with the Lafayette Angelina County Chamber of Commerce. Welcome to the Connect podcast, connecting business to the community. I'm here today with my co-host, Blake Polino with BP Media Group.
So this week we have Medium Business of the Year winner, Brittany Vinson of Tome Catering, to talk about her business, talk about her start, talk about what Tome means, which I thought was crazy interesting. I didn't know that. So let's jump into that episode now.
We're excited today to have Chef Brittany Vinson with Tome Catering. Brittany is actually our Medium Business of the Year. Recently, back in 2021, at the end of the year, we did Celebrate Business Awards a little bit differently this year with our Business of the Year awards. But so excited to have you on here. Even more honored to be able to present you with a Medium Business of the Year.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
So why don't you tell the listeners kind of your background and how, I know you're from Georgia.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, so tell us a little bit about that.
I've jumped around to many states, lived in 5 different states. And so my senior year of high school, we moved to Alabama, the only school, and I played basketball most of my life. And so after I moved, the only school that kept recruiting me was Stephen F. Austin. And so I feel like that was God saying, okay, this is where I want you to go. And so I got a full scholarship. I came to SFA, played basketball all 4 years. And then I guess everything kind of just lined up from there. I graduated with a bachelor's of hospitality administration from SFA, and then got a job soon after. After I graduated, I applied lots of places. The only one I got hired at was Cheddar's right when it was opening here in Lufkin.
That's where I first met you.
Yes, ma'am.
Cheddar's.
Yes, ma'am. So I ended up working there for 10 years. Had great bosses. Had a great opportunity to learn. I got paid to learn how to run my own business, and so I tell people, no matter where you work, you can always take something from where you work if you give that opportunity to yourself. They gave me an opportunity to go to culinary school while I worked full time, and so I didn't realize. I looked back 3 years after I graduated from culinary school. I got associates in culinary arts. I hadn't had a day off in 3 years. Like on my days off, I would travel to Houston, go to class, and come back and work full time. And so it was just adrenaline, I guess, and just, wanting to meet that goal of, learning, and I always wanted to continue to learn. They also gave me the opportunity, I was like, okay, I want to do catering on the side. Is that okay? And he was like, no, it's fine. It's not a conflict of interest because we aren't interested in doing catering. And so in 2009, I started Tome, one catering a month. It's for Burke Center. Laura Kaufman, every once a month, I would just go and cater for Burke Center and 29 people. And that was it. And once a month. And it was crazy because after that, it was kind of discouraging, when you first start and it's like, okay, it's not picking up. Like you want it to have instant, in right. 2009, you want your business to grow. You want things to take off just like that. And it took, I think I did it for like 2 years. And then after that, and I would go and if I got a wedding here or there, I would go rent a church, pay for the health permit, cater the wedding, pull some friends to come help, and then just do, once here and there. And I was like, oh, I don't think this is for me. So I stopped doing it for a couple of years, focused on work, focused on school. And then 2013, 2014, I remember Miley came up to me and said, Britt, I want you to cater my wedding. I was like, oh, no, I don't think catering's for me. I'm just going to stick with the restaurant industry. And she's like, no, I really want you to cater my wedding. And so I was like, okay, God, if you want me to get back into catering, I want you to confirm 3 times that this is what you want me to do. And it's crazy. 3 people that did not know me, did not know anything, did not know. They just randomly came up to me and said, you need to start your catering business. Like, it's crazy. Like, it's insane. And so I was like, okay, God, I hear you. Thank you for confirming. And so in 2014, I, made everything official, got my LLC, catered the first, for a first big wedding. And And then I think 2014, and then within a year and a half, God said it's time to leave Cheddar's and to do this full time. It's like, how am I going to pay myself? How am I going to pay my bills? I wasn't taking any money from the business, and it's crazy. Like the month that I quit, I gave my bosses, I think, a 4-month notice. And the month I quit, I started the next week, the phones rang like they had never rang before, just because I took that obedience of faith. He was waiting to see, okay, are you going to, and that's one book that I read, are you going to walk on water? Are you going to trust me? Are you going to walk toward me, even though it doesn't look like you're going to be able to walk on that water? And then the rest is history. We just been moving and going like I've never imagined. So
Brittany, that's one thing I love about your story and about you is that you are so obedient to God and you put Him first in everything, no matter what you're doing, whether it was school or basketball or your family. That's the one thing I've heard you talk about as a constant in your life, and I think it's paid off for you.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I wouldn't be where I am for sure without God. So
that's great.
So how did you come on the name Tome? What does Tome mean? How did you arrive there?
When I cook, I don't like to cook just plain food. And my brother used to get so mad at me. I like, if I make a burger, I would make a stuffed burger. If I made tacos, I would, just think of something crazy to add to it. And so it's actually an acronym. It's like I made a made up word, and it's the first letters of the ordinary made extraordinary.
Oh,
and
cool.
so then I just took the first letters and like, we're just gonna make a word. And at first we have the asterisk over the O, and then we moved it to the E to say Tome. And that's just how it's just our goal of, just making ordinary food, ordinary service, and just taking it to the next level in everything we do. So
I love that. I had no idea. I was like, that's got to be like some cooking word or some culinary French word or something.
It's just a made up word.
It's a made up word. I love that. So as you've gone through this journey of starting a small business, I think it's really interesting, especially here in our community. People are extremely entrepreneurial. There's tons of small business here. Yeah. We have a lot of listeners who are small business owners, into small business, interested in being in small business. What advice would you give someone who is starting a business in this area or going down that path?
Absolutely. I think number one is, what would you do if you didn't get paid to do it? What would you still, go to work every day and do? And I think that has been instrumental. You have to be passionate about, whatever it is you're doing, you're pursuing, whatever you're going to do business about, you have to enjoy it, because it's not the easiest thing in the world at all. Right. And so you have to have passion. And I think, and then number two would be do it the right way. That's one of my biggest pet peeves, is that I don't like to see people that just take short, I don't have to have a health permit, or I can cook it at my house, it'll be okay. No, like if you're required to have a health permit, you go have a health permit. Like the health department, health director in Nacogdoches, I would call them up and say, okay, only church I can rent was this one. Can you come inspect it and make sure it's okay? This is when I first started. And those are the things people don't see, but I feel like it's very important. Do business right if you're going to do it. So I would definitely do have a passion for it. And that way, when it's hard, you aren't making money, you don't have the phone calls coming in like you want them to come in, you're tired, you still push forward because you enjoy it. Like I enjoy cooking. I was thinking about the other day, if I stopped doing Tome, what would I do? And there's literally nothing I would enjoy other than cooking or serving people. Like those are the two things I know for a fact God has called me to do. And then just do business the right way. Do your research, get your permits, get, your whatever. Yes, some stuff might not make sense, but do it right.
Yeah. Awesome.
It's
really,
so important.
Really insightful answers. When I was younger, one of my best friends and I wanted to start our first business, and we were going to start a pressure washing company. And we pulled our money together. I mean, I had to have been 15, 16 years old. We went to the hardware store and we bought like this small little tiny electric pressure washer. And because we were being cheap is really what it was. And his dad saw what we were doing, and he's like, if you're going to start an airline, he's like, you don't go buy a little Cessna. Like go buy a pressure washer. It's going to take you like 10 hours to pressure wash a house with that thing. And we weren't doing it right. And because of that, I don't have a pressure washing business. To this day, we got out of that really, really fast. But really, really, really insightful. Something I've found really interesting about your business, watching it, is the way that you've scaled. So the way that you've grown your business. I think especially in catering, it's really easy to become, like you said, that like one person who cooks out of their house and like brings trays of food. Can you talk about scaling and like growing your business to what it is now, and it kind of puts you in that medium business category now with some of the employees that you have.
And honestly, like I think about that, and Ashley tells me all the time. She said, "Make sure you don't your business doesn't outgrow you."
Right.
And so that's something that I've had to be, very cautious about here lately, to make sure that my staff and myself, that we can handle everything that's coming at us. I think one of the biggest things I've learned is everything that we do, it has to make sense with what we do, and so we cater, and then we do our take and bakes, and through our take and bakes we're able to stem and do we're able to do our drive-throughs through Lufkin and Knack. We're able to do the same food through our vending machines. So it all matches up. Catering matches up. We feed schools. And so that's literally just like a catering. 125 kids a day between 4 schools. That's a catering. And so between those 2 different avenues, it's everything stems of everything we do. And so what's the easiest thing? We cook everything in bulk. Like I can cook for 100 people, 200 people, just as fast as I can cook for 20 people. Like I struggle cooking for 20 people. Like I've always grown up, like my grandma always told me, you always make sure there's enough, and I'll overcook just like that for 20 people. And so it's easier for us to make 100 pound of chicken spaghetti than I can't even make, I ain't gonna lie to you. I cannot make a small pot of chicken spaghetti. I can make 100 pounds, but I cannot make 5 pounds. I can't.
That's so funny.
And
my husband's always going, Tara, fractions. We don't need, there are 3 of us to eat this pot of soup.
It's harder than you think.
Like, dude, I'm not a fraction girl.
It's a real problem in cooking
it
for
is.
I was trying to
everybody.
teach Annalie fractions the other day. He was like, "Oh God, she's gonna fail." I'm like, "Hush it."
It's when I grew up, I had 2 brothers, and I mean, we ate our parents out of house and home. Like we would eat so much. So when my mom would cook something, she had to just make just these enormous amounts of food. So growing up, I just had the recipes that my mom cooked in the quantity that they cooked them. So when I moved out and was living by myself, I would make these giant bowls of spaghetti for just me, because that's all I knew was how she would cook for 3 growing boys. But that's really, really, really interesting. That's good information. Yeah.
So let's talk about your take and bake, because take and bake was vital to you during COVID.
Oh yeah.
Without having catering events, that like really shifted your business, I think.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It was huge because of the fact that it made us get creative. It made us think outside the box. I think at that time we were only doing 4 entrees. We were doing, I think, 2 or 3 sides, per week. We were doing 1 wrap. And then when I remember looking at the calendar, like at that time we had the venue, and we had every Saturday booked for the rest of the year. Was it 2019? Yeah. It's been 2 years now. 2019, every Saturday. Then the calls just kept coming. Cancel. Yep. And I looked at my team. I said, okay, we got to figure something out. We have got to stay open. We have one thing that most restaurants don't have. We have a drive-through. So what can we do? And so all the managers, we all sat around the table. Okay, let's add another entree. And we got creative, made the menu bigger, and just push the heck out of it. Post it on Facebook, just advertise. And we had so many people said, I had no idea you were even here, until we were one of the few that were open during that time. But no, yeah, COVID actually, it actually was a blessing in disguise, because it just showed us that we can do more, that we can, and it's crazy, in the middle of COVID, we opened another store in Nacogdoches, and we extended our vending, from 1 machine to now 8 machines, and so, it's just, I don't know, it was instrumental.
So how do people get a vending machine? Because I think it's the coolest thing when you walk in like City Hall and there's a Tome vending machine.
That's awesome.
They just make a phone call, just an inquiry. And then a couple of things I've learned. I've learned that, definitely over 100 people, it seems to work best, because everybody's not going to eat out of it every single day. And then also, places that are open longer, like overnight, or at least most of the day, seem to work better. And then, it's just, and also lack of accessibility to getting out at lunchtime has been huge. I remember talking to Kim Ogden at one point, and she was like, okay, what niche are you missing? And I was like, I'm missing the group of people that cannot leave. Like, I've never had a lunch break in the 15, 16 years that I've worked in the industry, because I'm the one that feeds people during their lunch break.
Right.
And so I was like, I want to help those people that cannot get out for lunch. How do I get to those people that are stuck at work? And so just talking to her, like, that's when I started looking into the vending machines and stuff like that. And I was like, okay, we got to be able to take care of those nurses, those doctors, those office people that do not have lunch breaks. How can we reach them? Because they'll never come through our drive-through at lunchtime ever. And so that's kind of how the vendings, the vending part of it evolved, and we, found the technology. So
do you, I guess, put new items in it once a week? How do you do that?
No, we stock out of that.
We the word I was
yes,
looking
ma'am.
for.
No, we stock. I have one guy, Luis. He's over it. He stocks all 7, now 8 of them. And between me and him, if he can't go, then I'll go one of those days. And we stock. Most of them we stock every day. There's
Wow.
two or three. There's 3 of them, 2 or 3 of them that we stock 3 times a week. The rest of them we stock like Woodland Heights. We're there once to twice a day. Lockheed Martin,
gosh.
we're there twice a day. So the more people, that's what I always tell them. They were like, how often are you going to come stock? The more you eat, the more we come.
Yeah.
And so we want to make sure that like if at 12 o'clock at night, there's not a whole lot open. And nurses, they still got to sustain themselves through the rest of the night. So we want to be that avenue to help give them the energy so they can do what God has called them to do. And so that's something, that's intricate. We're here to feed people. We're here to help people, be able to keep going and doing what they do. So
That's great, Britt.
So if you haven't caught on to this, these are vending machines that have real food in them, right?
Yes.
Like you're not putting like bags of potato chips.
No,
in
we
these.
make probably 95% of everything we make it from scratch. The only thing we don't make is like our rolls. We do proof them, but any bread is the only thing we don't make. But no, we slice chicken every single, like hundreds of pounds of chicken. We make chicken
And
pasta,
this is
chicken
in the vending
spaghetti.
machines.
Yeah, everything
Wow.
that you can get in our drive-thrus, you can get in our vending machines. So
That's amazing.
and that's one thing. Like I hate cooking the same. That's part of the way why I read
Right.
the menu is just kind of selfish. But I don't like cooking the same things all the time. I hate it, and I don't like eating the same things all the time.
Right.
And so that's why we do a rotating menu. And so in that rotating menu that we do, everything we do in our drive-through. So, and that's why it had to be so that it's easier for our staff. We do in our drive-through. It's what we do in our vending machines. It's what we do in Nacogdoches. It all
Smart.
lines up,
Yeah.
And so instead of us making just 10 wraps for Lufkin drive-through, we make almost 60 a day, 60 or 80 a day and it goes to all those different places at one time. And so it's kind of intricate and thought out about, being strategic. So
Is that what you also feed to the kids at school?
that menu is just a tad bit different. No, the school menu is, I've kind of found what they like, and they love the chicken nuggets. They love,
Macaroni
taco
cheese.
day, burritos days. And so and then they love pancakes. I think that's the most pancakes.
Annalie loves
Yeah.
your pancakes. She used to get those at Pilk.
Yes. So that's,
was
I think,
always excited.
so I think we finally found, after we've been doing schools for 4 years, found what the kids like. And so that I have 2 people, Miss Ricks and Magda, that are solely responsible for that. They come in, they prep it, they cook it, portion it, deliver it. And so that's just different, a little
great.
bit different. So
That's great. You're such a giving person, Brittany, and that was one of the qualifications that we kept hearing over and over and over when people were submitting for our Business of the Year awards, was that how much that you do for the community. And the thing about Brittany, if you know Brittany, she does not like to be recognized at all. Like she doesn't. She would be just fine if she never had to be around people to take any credit. She gives all the credit to God, but at the same time, you deserve so much accolades and credit because you do so much that no one even knows about. You take care of people that have passed away. You take care of their families. When the freeze happened, God love you, you opened up your freezers and just started feeding the masses that, had lost all of electricity and had lost food. You just started feeding people. And so I just want you to know that people do notice and they are very appreciative of all that you do for our community.
it's an honor. Thank you.
One of the things that was really surprising to me when we were doing the award ceremony, and we were reading off all of the things that you do for the community, but one of the things that stood out to me most was some of the stuff that you do for your employees.
Yeah.
The culinary industry, the restaurant business can be, for lack of a better word, pretty toxic. I mean, it can be a really rough environment, really hard place to work. The burnout rate is insane, but you've kind of gone the opposite direction with your business, and it's a very wholesome, like really enriching place. Can you talk a little bit about that? Like, I was really impressed. Like when we were going through the list of people who were, I was like, oh, obviously they're going to win. Like this was like no contest with some of the things that like you do for your employees. Tell us a little bit about that.
I think the greatest, I can't do, Tome doesn't exist with just me. And that's one of the things that I learned, I remember a long time ago, is that when you walk into a building, you speak to everybody. You call everybody by name. Everybody's recognized. And that's one thing I make as an important thing as my staff. When you walk in, you speak to everybody. We're a team. We're a family. Everybody matters. I can't do this by myself. I can't. And so I'm very blessed. I have team members that have been with me almost 15 years now. They worked with me 10 years when I was at Cheddar's, and then they've been been with me 5 or 6 years while here. I think I have 2. I have some 6 years. I was thinking 8 years. I was just looking at the longevity, and I've been very blessed because I can't. If I don't take care of the people that are around me, then I can't. Then I won't be successful, and the business won't be successful. And then if they feel like, that's one of the most popular sayings, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And so that's one thing is very, very important to me is like I want to make sure that they can get health insurance. I don't want them to be afraid, okay, how do I take care of my kids? They don't have to do it, but it's an option. The dental, we started this year was probably they were most excited about is I partnered with Live Well, and we did a discounted, like I pay a portion of your membership. They only have to pay $10 if they go there 7 times per month. And so that promotes wellness and taking care of your bodies and working out and things like that. And they were excited because then they could have something positive to take their families and their kids to. And so it's excited to see that. And then 401k is an option because retirement, we all got a plan for that. But, and so I've had different speakers come in and educate, them. I want to give them new experiences. I want to let them experience the world just as I have. And then it's just like, my dad, he busted his butt to take care of his family. That's my family. I don't have kids. I don't have, I'm not married. And so for me, Tome is my baby, and everybody that's helping me take care of my baby is my family. And so that's kind of the motivation. Like I'm always looking for we eat, they don't pay for food, they half off if it's on the menu, but like this week, I'm really excited. We're being blessed so much by people coming and letting us cater their Christmas parties. We're gonna go. I'm buying lunch every day for my team, and I'm gonna support another small business.
Great.
And so that's what it's about is making sure they know that I care, making sure they know I got their back, and then in turn they're gonna have my back. When
Absolutely.
we're working 17-hour days and 60-hour, 70-hour weeks, I just want them to know that I care, that I love them, that I'm here for them. If they need a mentor, if they need a mother or sister, I want to be that person to help them, because at the end of the day, I listened to something last night. The only thing that matters is salvation. At the end of the day, we don't take any of this with us. We don't take our cars, we don't take our businesses, our houses, we don't take anything. The only thing I take with me is the people I help bring to Christ. Like I don't go into work preaching, but it's pretty amazing. Like I think almost like at one point before COVID, almost all my staff was going to church, and some of them had never gone to church before. And so like, I don't know, it just blesses my heart and saying, okay, I'm going in the direction.
People.
Yeah. Leading in a way that people want to follow. And so I think that's I think developing people, I think, is definitely my second calling. Is God, everybody that God brings in my path, if they're teachable and they want to learn and they want to be a better person, when they leave, like that's my goal, is to make them a better person. So.
Well, you do.
You do. That is so. And how many employees do you have?
I think I was up to 21. I think it's the most I've ever had. 21, 22. So
that's so incredibly wholesome to hear, because it's a world where a lot of small business owners are just trying to get by taking care of their employees as little as like just the bare minimum of what they can get away with. But to have that number of employees that you do, and to offer health insurance and 401k, that's not something that happens a lot in small business. So we definitely want to make sure that people know about that and recognize that and realize that it's possible, right?
That's right.
It's possible to run a successful and a thriving business and take care of your people at the same time, right? That they're not
Absolutely.
mutually exclusive.
Absolutely.
So we really appreciate you sharing that with us and letting people know what's possible.
Well, we can't wait to see what Brittany and Tome does for the future.
Oh yes, my brain's always going. I'm always thinking.
Girl,
and my
you're
team,
addicted to busy.
I am. And my team hates me. They're like, we're doing what? And they're like, I don't even want to know. I don't even want to know. That's what they tell me. I don't want to know yet.
Well, we can't wait to see what
great.
the future for you holds.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Super excited. Thank you so much for coming on to the podcast. Where can
you for
people
having
find you if they want to learn more about Tome, if they want to try your amazing food? Where can they do that?
The website, tomeexpress.com or tomecatering.com. We have 2 locations, 2 drive-throughs, downtown Lufkin, 206 East Grosbeck. And then we're also on North Street, 5105 North Street in Nacogdoches. And then you'll see various vending machines at different facilities. If you're in the hospital or working out, we do have food available there as well.
That's great.
Love
Thanks for being on.
Thank y'all for
and the
having
chicken
me.
spaghetti is really good. If you haven't tried it, it's probably my favorite.
Thank
Well, thank
you.
you so much. We appreciate your time, and thank you so much for listening to the podcast again this week. We hope the story was inspirational to you, and we hope that you've found tons of quality and value in this podcast. And if you have, we'd love it if you would rate and review the podcast wherever you're listening. Share the podcast with somebody. Let someone know about it if you think they might be interested in it. And thank you very much. We'll see you next week.